Hi, everybody. I'm here to read aloud this article, Grateful to Be Alive, which we're reading in Module 12. So please follow along as I read out loud, and I'll tell you when to pause the video to answer the questions that are embedded in the text. Grateful to Be Alive. Ernesto Castro lives to tell his story about surviving COVID-19. By Katie Walker of UC. On April 5th, Ernesto Castro celebrated his 35th birthday. It was a special day that he feared he would never see. Castro is a man who has lived his life helping others. He has given his children, a son, 12, and a daughter, 18 months, his whole heart. At work, he's a social worker at a local health center, and he works to break down barriers for others and solve problems for his neighbors. About 3 weeks ago, Castro began feeling ill. When he came down with a runny nose, followed by congestion, Castro figured he was getting the flu. When his symptoms worsened, he realized that this time he was the one who needed help. Pause here and answer questions 1 and 2. Caring for a COVID-19 patient. Castro's health kept getting worse and worse, and his girlfriend drove him to the hospital, UC Health Medical Center of the Rockies in Loveland, Colorado. Health workers greeted him and jumped into action. Immediately, they started working on me, Castro said. Caregivers placed a mask on him and isolated him in a patient room where a doctor and nurses ran tests, listened to his lungs, and ruled out other possibilities. He was tested for COVID-19. It took days to receive a confirmation that he did indeed have COVID-19, but that didn't delay care. Castro's symptoms were severe enough that a positive test wouldn't have changed his care plan. Medical providers needed to act immediately to give him a fighting chance to survive and make it to his next birthday. I can't stress enough the amazing job they all did with me, Castro said. As soon as I walked in, I felt that they cared. They truly do love what they do and have a passion for it. If it wasn't for the UC Health staff, I don't think I'd be here. Just before he was placed in a medically induced coma and on a ventilator, a machine to help you breathe, he learned that he had the coronavirus. He fought for his life. Pause the video here and answer question 3, 4, and 5. Dealing with severe COVID-19. Castro's condition deteriorated, and his medical team made the decision to put him in a medically induced coma and on a ventilator. His lungs were too weak, and his heart was trying to compensate by working too hard. His body needed to rest in order to fight. Doctors reassured him that they had placed people in medically induced comas and on ventilators many times. But Castro worried. His brother had gone through something similar as a result of drug and substance use, and Castro felt his brother was never the same after that. Since visitors are not allowed in hospitals during this coronavirus pandemic, Castro had to endure the news alone. Lots of times, I kid you not, I thought I wasn't going to make it, but my faith and my children really motivated me to get better. Pause here and answer questions 6, 7, and 8. Helping the body fight the coronavirus. About 4 days later, Castro woke from his coma. Days had passed and I had no idea of anything. I didn't even know the basics, like who I was or where I was at. The hardest thing was my pride, he said. I'm so used to helping everyone out that I never thought I'd be in this situation. Having me confronted and having me being comforted and helped by UC Health has truly been a blessing. They didn't just help me physically, they helped me mentally, emotionally, spoke with me, and some even prayed with me. I've never been in a facility like that, and it gave me a really warm feeling that I'll never stop thanking them. After 10 days in the hospital, nurtured by the brave nurses and doctors, Castro donned a clean face mask on March 30th. Nurses pushed his wheelchair out of the hospital. He was overjoyed to see his girlfriend and his daughter. Because visitors had not been allowed in the hospital, Castro had not seen his family in nearly 2 weeks. Pause here and answer questions 9 and 10. Recovering from COVID-19. Castro will always remember the name of some of his nurses. He calls them real heroes who dealt with me in my darkest times. But really, I want to thank every last person there, he said. They are so multi-talented, good-natured, and so kind. I wish I could go there and thank every single person personally, but that's not possible right now. Back at home, Castros continues to self-quarantine. He will spend the next few weeks being a stay-at-home dad. He's starting with baby steps to get his lungs and his body healthy again. I'm still not 100%, he said. I'm still weak and tired and have multiple follow-up virtual visits with my doctors. But it's okay because I'm strong enough to prove to the doctors that I can do this. Too many days passed without me seeing my kids and family. On April 5th, Ernesto Castro, Claudia, and the kids celebrated his birthday, and according to Ernesto, simply being alive was the greatest gift he could have received. Pause here and answer questions 11 and 12. Once you have finished all of the questions 1 through 12, you may move on to the synthesis, where you're going to reflect on the reading and respond to a prompt.